Okay. Hey, Jason. Welcome to Creepy Culture. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
And you're a researcher out in Minnesota.
Yeah, my name is Jason. I'm the founder and head researcher with Backwoods Research up here in northern Minnesota.
And you're going to tell today about some of the encounters you've had while you've been researching.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear them all.
Well, my first encounter was back in 2010. Not really a believer at the time. And I'm driving out to a friend's house west of where I lived at the time. And I noticed something bipedal walking along the tree line. Almost put a brand new truck in the ditch. Called a friend of mine. And he's like, yeah, the old timers in this area see him all the time. So I guess that really sparked, that was my first spark in the interest of Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of stemmed forwards from there. I formed my own research team, which is Backwoods Research, 2 years ago with the goal to prove the existence and hopefully get some laws put in place to protect it.
Right. So
The activity,
go ahead.
pardon? The activity up in northern Minnesota has just been more than I ever expected. I mean, you always hear about these things out in Washington State, Northern California, Oregon, even Nevada, Ohio. But to fathom something like this in northeastern Minnesota it's kind of like a dream come true.
Right. And you've had a bunch of stuff too. You've gathered up quite a bit of evidence and sightings.
In the past 2 years, just here in northeastern Minnesota, I've had over 8 sightings.
That's a lot.
But as with anything, the more time you spend in the woods, the more you're going to encounter.
Absolutely. Well, you can go ahead and I guess start from, you said your first one. I guess just go in chronological order.
There was a sighting back in 2010 where I had the one walking on the edge of a farm field.
Mhm.
Back in when was it, 2014, I was camping in a remote area and I was harassed repeatedly for a week straight while I was 10 miles back on a minimum maintenance road. Every night, howls, whoops. Even had my camper shook one night.
Oh my goodness.
And at that point, I was kind of involved with another research team here in northern Minnesota, but wasn't full on into it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started talking to one of the guys that was on the team that lives not far from where I had that happen, and come to find out that's one of their main research sites.
Oh wow. And you were just camping right in it.
Unbeknownst to me, I was right in the middle of ground zero.
Mm.
And the one individual proceeded to take me out and show me structures. He showed me a whole village of teepee-like structures.
Were those like just stacked together, or were they like woven together, or?
They were woven together to the point you could not pull them apart.
Yes, that's definitely a Bigfoot structure.
Recent years, I've found nesting sites
Mhm.
where the nests are so big around, a human can lay in them and not touch the other side.
Mm.
A lot of whoops, howls, tree knocks. Several sightings where I have one that my team has nicknamed the quiet one. He'll come out on the trail, look at you, turn his head to the right, and he'll look right up in the sky. And then he'll just proceed to walk off. So it's like he knows we're coming in, but he wants us to know that he's there also.
Mm-hmm. That is something.
Last winter, I was lucky enough to get a trail cam pic on a camera that I had placed 9 feet up in a tree. I have a full face with eyes, nose, forehead, and the wrinkles in the forehead that are plain as it's the clearest picture I've ever seen of a Sasquatch.
That's amazing. Do you have like a website or anything you share those on, or?
I do have a site on Facebook. It's just Backwoods Research,
Okay.
and I share a lot of my discoveries. But there's certain things I'm not willing to share just yet.
Right. I understand that.
And the area I'm researching now it's along the Canadian Shield up north,
Hmm.
and it's the closest thing structure wise as you'll find to being up in the mountains out in Washington or Northern California. Or it's a lot of sheer cliffs, glacial rock, uh, caves. You'll find caves just out of the blue.
Hmm. They seem to like caves. Or they're around places that have caves too, I've noticed.
Well, there's a theory going around that some of these caves may be connecting points to other places,
Oh, like a travel way
like they're a
network.
network system that could lead just about anywhere.
Right. That's interesting. Um, and you got footprints and stuff like that too before, right?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay. And the biggest one you got was what'd you say, 20 inches?
20 and a half inches.
20 and a half inches. And where was that at? Was that the place you go?
One of my research areas,
Oh, okay.
yes.
Okay. And did you want to talk about how you leave them stuff and they leave you stuff back?
Sure. In the past couple of years, I started doing what a few other researchers are doing, which is gifting.
Hmm.
And trial and error, I found out they like blue objects. If I leave any other color but blue, they will not touch it. But the first time I left blue object, it was blue marbles. And when I came back after leaving 3 blue marbles, they had left me 3 pine cones.
That's
Another gifting thing that I found they really like is tobacco. I left tobacco at one point, came back 2 days later and found a dead squirrel on the stump.
that's so
So
cool how they do that. They just left you a squirrel.
yeah, it's been very interesting.
It is interesting to me too. Their behavior is very interesting to me, and um, also, like I was telling you, the fact that you don't have to go deep in the woods, they just seem to be.
A lot of times, a, a lot of the reports that I'll get are in state forest campgrounds,
Yep.
and you, a lot of people like to think you got to go deep in the woods to have an encounter. You got to be up in the Boundary Waters or Yosemite National Park or something like that. But a lot of times, it's the people that are camped in the state forest campgrounds. They're a mile off the main road.
Yeah, I think they're real curious about people. Like they like to watch them and they're curious what we're doing and stuff.
Uh, one instance, one of my research areas is right behind the family's house after they had all their chickens killed last winter. And I was finding tracks that were 20 yards behind the house.
They're just right there in plain sight.
And the fact that they would see them on a daily basis, take pictures, send the pictures to me immediately, or say, hey, we have 3 walking around behind the property right now. Can you get out here?
Mhm. I I hate that they did AI pictures because now when somebody does post a legit picture, everybody's gonna say that's AI.
Right.
I hate that so much because I know I've seen pictures where I know that it's a real Bigfoot and everybody's bashing it like that's just AI. And I'm just like that's probably not AI, that's probably real, but now you would never know the difference because of that, and I really hate that.
Well, see, that's why I have an AI analyzer on my computer.
Mhm.
If someone sends me a picture, the first thing I do is I run the photo through an AI analyzer. And out of every 10 pictures that get sent to me, maybe 3 of them are legit, and the other ones they come back as possibly AI.
Right. Well, that's good you got that, and that way you can, you know, wait it out.
It's unfortunately it's what we have to do in this day and age,
Right.
because unfortunately there are a lot of hoaxers out there.
Yeah, there is, and I hate that too because it's like, gosh, don't you have anything better to do? Because you know, I know these things are real. Lots of other people know they're real. All these people that have encounters, they're not everybody's lying and hoaxing, and it's something we all need to pull together and understand about and be aware of.
Right.
So it's I think it's a very important a thing to be aware of when you're out anywhere, like campground, hiking through a trail that's not deep in the woods, or you know, they can just be anywhere. It's and everybody always thinks the same thing, and it's a typical thing. They're thinking, oh, Bigfoot's out west, it's in Washington, like you said, and or you got to go 3 miles in the woods or 4 miles in the woods, to encounter one, and that's not the case. They can just be anywhere, and you could just be fishing and see one. And people just need to be aware and protect themselves and
Well, and
under
the more I get into this, the more I'm getting the older generation coming forward and reporting stuff that they would never have reported in the past, for for being in fear of being called a lunatic, basically.
right. I think it's good that a lot of people are getting over that and that they're coming forward and telling because you know it's just important. These things go back so far. I mean, there's stories of them from way back, and the natives. It's in their oral history, and they shared land with them. They weren't just telling stories. It was for their survival, and I think it's great that people are coming forward now. I think it's important.
Well, what kind of upset me this spring on the Native American aspect is I've been digging into the Native American Bigfoot connection. I approached a one of the local bands up here in northern Minnesota, which for copy or whatever reasons, I'll just leave the name of the band out. But I was told that I was too white and I was an outsider and that they didn't want to talk to me.
Oh no.
After having a tribal elder start telling me about some of the stuff, and when I asked if there was anyone else that would be willing to sit down with me, then I got stonewalled and basically, you're too white. You're too white, and you don't, this is none of your business.
Mm-mm-mm.
Well, I would think they'd want to get that information out there so that people understand things.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But I also understand that they are being on a reservation is kind of, if you're not a member of the tribe, you're they're trying to keep everything within their heritage.
Absolutely. Hmm.
But on the other side of that, wouldn't you want people to understand your heritage?
Yep, I get both points to that. I really do. They want to keep
It's
it in their stuff, but I get your
it's
point too.
it's the individuals that don't live on the reservation that are willing to speak with me and open up about some of this stuff.
Well, that's good that they're talking about it because I just think everybody should be aware of them. And everybody's like, "Oh, that's a myth." I don't. You can think whatever you want. It's all fun and games till you see one or hear one.
Well, there's a primatologist that I speak with on a somewhat regular basis, and for years there's a lemur species that was rumored to be extinct or to be a myth, and she spent her own time and her own money down in Tasmania, and lo and behold, she discovered the mouse lemur, which is smaller than a field mouse.
Hmm.
So, and another good example is Jane Goodall and her discovery of silverback gorilla, which was thought to be a myth for many, many years. And lo and behold, she spends the time out in the jungle, and the silverback gorilla come right into her.
Yep, they're a real thing. That's for sure.
So to say Bigfoot doesn't exist is to be or not be open to the existence of other species.
Exactly. And also, there's so much evidence of them. I mean,
Correct.
there's there's footprints, there's hair samples, people have done DNA on them. There's, people's heard them, people's seen them, and yeah, I get people fake stuff and hoax and think they're funny, but really though, underneath all that, there's evidence. So,
Well, one thing I will speak of is one of the hair samples that I found back in March of this year, reddish orange in color, not matching anything I know that's in the woods for having hair that length. And I
right,
send it in to be analyzed, and it comes back to be orangutan in origin.
that's what it came back as.
Yes,
Oh wow,
orangutan in the woods in the wintertime in northern Minnesota.
right. That ain't
Yeah,
how.
that just doesn't exist.
No, nobody would believe that for sure. And
And then another sample I came back as unknown. Is there a possibility that it was that I didn't collect it properly and it got tainted? It could have been tainted, or it could have been degraded to the point that it was they couldn't tell exactly what type it was.
right. But there's some DNA that's been turned in. What was it? Melba Ketchum. That came back what, part human and unknown.
Right.
So there's that. That wasn't contaminated. So there's that. So that right there tells you by science there's something that is half human and half unknown that's not in our gen bank.
Correct.
So there it is. So I really think it's really important to just keep this out there and make people aware. If nothing else, just be aware when you're out
Right.
when you're out in the wild, and you ain't even gonna be in the wild. You could just be fishing, hunting, camping in a campground, anything. Just be aware, you know?
Well, like you and I talked earlier this morning, there's an exercise I like to have people do when I take them in the woods. And after we walk in about 100 yards, I have them turn around, shut their eyes, and repeat 3 times, I need to see to see. And after they've said it 3 times with their eyes closed, I have them turn around and I ask them, now, what do you see? And their attention to detail is 10 times what it was before they did it.
Right.
You, by closing your eyes and saying that, your eyes, you're basically cleaning your vision.
Yes. And then
It
what about
allows
oh,
it
I'm sorry.
it allows you to erase everything you saw before you walk in the woods.
Yep, so you're more focused on what is there.
Correct.
And then what about your other little experiment where you went up and they couldn't see you?
Oh, yes. Another research partner of mine, his daughter asked me, how come we don't see them? And I picked a hillside and I walked up on the hill. I could still see her at the bottom, but where she was looking, she could not see me standing at the top. And it's because of the forest cover. A lot of times, my my theory is Sasquatch will pick the high ground because it allows them to watch you without you being able to see them and be aware of their presence.
And I agree with that wholeheartedly too. They're always on ridge lines.
But the same could be said about the low ground too. You're looking down. They could be on the edge of a rock overhang and still seeing you, but you don't see them because you're watching your footing.
You just made me think of something that isn't even about the woods, but um when I went to get my concealed carry license here in Ohio,
Yes.
I had um a guy train me privately, and he was an ex corrections officer at a prison here, and he trained the Dayton SWAT team, and
Okay.
he taught me some extra stuff like how to run backwards and keep my sight on my target. And he also taught me, we were in his apartment at this one point, and he went down the hallway and he was like, "Can you see me?" And I'm like, "No." He said, "I can see you." And he flipped his sight on me.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, hey now." But, he was teaching me stuff like that, but I did not see him, and we weren't even in the wild. We were in a house.
And the other thing I tell people is you got to think this isn't a creature that spends 24/7, 365 days in the woods. They know that terrain better than any human can ever hope to know it.
Exactly.
That's their home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is true. Did you ever have an encounter that scared you?
My the encounter back in 2014 when I was camping,
Yeah.
because I got woke up about 1:30 in the morning to something hitting the side of the camper, and my hunting partner was like, "What was that?" Well, I walked, the dogs were going berserk in the back of the pickup. Well, first thing you want to do is flip lights on and go out and find out what's driving the dogs nuts. Well, I'll get out there and you're kind of groggy. You don't think much of it. And your first thing you're thinking is bear, mountain lion, and you're freaking out trying to get the dog settled down. And then all of a sudden you hear what sounds like someone chopping wood. Well, the next morning I thought about it. We're 10 miles down a minimum maintenance road. There's no one else camped back here. We're hearing what sounds like wood being chopped, which I'm 99% sure now in this day and age that was a tree. Those are tree knocks. And 2 nights later, something shakes the camper in the middle of the night.
That would have terrified me. I would have been terrified. So yes.
Well, you just wake up in bed and you're like, what the heck? Earthquake? And all of a sudden you hear what sounds like hands slam onto the side of the camper and the whole thing starts shaking. You're worried. You're like, man, this thing's rolling over.
Oh, that is terrifying. I couldn't even deal with that. I don't ever want to have that happen to me. That's scary. It's just scary.
But it's actually because of all the sightings and activity I've had, it's now gotten to the point where I'm like, yeah, it's another Sasquatch.
Yeah, I guess you would get kind of used to them after you go out so much.
And like we talked earlier, I have one area where there's one we've nicknamed the quiet one.
Mhm.
He every time we go out there, he shows himself.
He's used to
And
you guys.
he knows we're not a threat and we know he's not a threat.
That's pretty cool.
And people ask me, how do I know it's a he? Well, it's kind of obvious if you look at the nether region.
Hmm.
And you can see it flopping around in the breeze.
Right. And I wanted to ask you too about the how you said you could tell the male and the female, they look different in their face.
Yes.
What was the differences there that you noticed?
Uh the males that I've noticed have usually a larger nose, bigger brow, and just the way they carry themselves versus the females, they have a more feminine look in the face, smaller nose, finer lip line, and you can actually see the breasts on them.
Hmm. And are the ones you're seeing, are they what color are they? Are they more
I've I've seen anywhere from black to solid brown to reddish brown.
so you're seeing various colors? And then how big are they there?
Uh, we've had reports of entities that are over 16 feet tall.
Lord.
The biggest that my research team and I have seen is maybe 10 to 12 feet tall.
Oh my gosh, where'd you see that? In your
Uh,
research areas?
right up in the one we call the quiet one. He's a minimum of 12 feet tall.
Oh wow.
And the way we determine that is we we mark an area on the tree where we see the top of their head, and we'll go measure from the base to where the head was.
Right. So like the quiet one for instance. So he's a big boy.
Yes.
That's probably his footprint you got, maybe the 20-foot one or a 20-inch one.
I don't I don't believe that was his.
You don't?
I I've gotten a cast of his footprint
Hmm.
and it was 16 and 3/4.
Oh wow. So that 20-inch print, that was probably a bigger one.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Um, and so the like the quiet one, for instance, or the female one you got a picture of, are they having longer hair? And is it like all over their face, or is their face
Their face is as clear as yours or mine.
okay? And the
Uh
hair,
they'll
their hair
they'll
is
have it
long.
on Their hair is fairly long.
Mhm.
I I've never been able to go up and grab one and see how long it is,
Right. Well, they say,
but I
some of them's got shorter hair and some of them's got like 6 inch, hair hanging off their arms and such. So I was just wondering if those had
I,
the longer hair or the shorter hair.
I think the younger ones are the ones with that have shorter hair.
Hmm.
The older they get, the longer the hair gets.
That's what I was thinking too, but I wasn't sure. So I'm glad you said that because I've always assumed that. So that's good to know too about the hair length there. But their faces are mostly clear,
Yes,
and their skin like the gray color, the charcoal gray.
it's more of a tan.
Is it okay?
But it's you look at the human species. We have blacks, we have Latinos, we have Caucasians.
Hmm.
Why can't there be different entities of Sasquatch?
I believe there is. That's why I was asking if their skin was charcoal. And see, you're saying tan, so a lot of people report charcoal color,
Right.
and people report tan too. So I mean, they are different. I think they're very different. I don't think any of them look. Not that I've seen one, but from just people's encounters, I don't think they all look the same. So,
Well, like I said, from what I've seen up here,
mm,
I've seen with the different hair colors, and other people have reported hairier faces. So it's just it gets you to think: are there different species and bloodlines? And
right, it gets deep, don't it? You have to start wondering a lot of things. And then people say they look like Neanderthals in the face, and some people
and
say
see
they look human.
that I think they look more. The ones I've witnessed are more Neanderthal looking,
Hmm.
but I like Dr. Meldrum. His reports are more ape looking. I mean, they're more of a full face of hair.
Yeah, I think they're all looking different.
So like we've talked, it's we have different races of humans.
Hmm.
Why aren't there different races of Sasquatch?
I'm pretty sure there are,
Well, we know there's Yetis,
which are totally
oh,
different from here.
which are over in Europe.
Right.
So why can't there be something more Yeti like over here?
There probably could be. I mean, I think there are a lot
I
of
mean,
different. I think that's why researchers are important because nobody knows anything. You know what I mean? Except for what they're out trying to find. And then this is how you get all your information. And I think it's great that people research so that you can line it out and, you know,
I
come to
mean, we're
conclusions.
my team is to the point right now. We do have a biologist that volunteers with us, and if and when we make the determination, we're prepared to have him come out with a tranquilizer gun
Hmm.
to hopefully get the evidence we need to get this thing proven as a actual species without harming it, minus making it go to sleep for 20 minutes or so,
Right.
so that we can get these things recognized,
Yeah.
get the photos, get the video evidence.
I'm not quite sure why. Um, I don't know. I'm not even going to go into that. That's a whole other episode. But I'm not going to say nothing. I think it'll be great if somebody did, if they did finally recognize it as a species.
Well, see, you hear different prominent researchers, I'll leave names out,
Yes.
that say the only way this thing will be proven as a species is to have one dead on the table.
Yeah.
Well, there's other ways. You don't need to kill one in order to prove it,
Right.
which is why we've come up with the idea of tranquilizing one and taking the hair, blood, and tissue samples we need, along with the photographic and video evidence.
Right. There's a few research groups out trying to do the same thing. Eventually, it'll happen eventually.
It will,
Hmm. I'll
but
be glad.
the hope is one isn't harm or seriously harmed in the process.
Right. Right. I think that's all I wanted to ask you, but did you want to share any other encounters that you had?
Well, those are the ones that I thought were key talking points.
Yeah, I thought they were good. Um, and it's Backwoods Research on Facebook,
Correct.
and that's where you share your stuff. If anybody wants to go follow him on Facebook, and
Oh, and if anyone happens to be up here in northern Minnesota in October, there is the Minnesota Bigfoot Conference happening in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, which is hosted by the Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team, which is another affiliate of mine. And this year they have Maria Mayer and Russell Accord coming to speak.
well, that'd be nice. I love going to the Bigfoot festivals and stuff. I always go to the one at Salt Fork and Hocking Hills here in Ohio, but I would like to go to one out of state one time.
It's an interesting one. They even do a night hike with the speakers the night after the conference.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Um, I really appreciate you coming on and talking about all your research that you've been doing. I love listening to you. I know I've kept you on the phone all day just talking about it, but I love listening about it. So I appreciate you taking the time to share all that.
Oh, absolutely.
And of course, I'll have you back on if you find anything else, because I want to hear all about it. So I appreciate it. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording now.
All right.
Thanks, Jason.
You're very welcome.